What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 10 things you should never do in the UK. So today, I want to check out this video by Crunch, and this is all about how you should behave in the UK and how it is very different from here in the United States. And I really think that a lot more Americans need to watch stuff like this before they visit the UK. And also because we have such a negative reputation around the world as being really, really bad, annoying tourists. And honestly, I think it's because most Americans don't bother to understand the place that they are visiting, or how you are supposed to behave, or how the local culture is different from the United States. So let's take a look at this. This is 10 things you should really never do in the UK.
Number 1. Calling the United Kingdom England.
Oh,
Before you take the flight to anywhere in the UK, know its full form. UK.
Oh. Yes, this isn't exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting like the behaviors you should do, or things you shouldn't be too loud, but this is really, really important. This is like so basic. I kind of forgot about this. But this is something that I would say most Americans really struggle with. And that is understanding the difference between the United Kingdom, England, and Great Britain, and understanding the countries and places within the United Kingdom. That is something that I think most Americans really struggle with. We are, as a country, we're very, very bad at geography. I'm just going to be honest.
Stands for the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Right.
Do you realize what this means? The UK consists of 4 countries: Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales.
Oh my. This reminds me, this was one of the very first videos I ever did on this YouTube channel, was finally, for the first time, learning what the United Kingdom was and the countries within it. And I'm a full-grown American adult, and I did not know the difference between Britain and England and the United Kingdom as a whole, and where Wales and Scotland are, and that Northern Ireland is different than Ireland, and I didn't even know that till like, relatively recently in my life. So yeah, like oh my God. There are probably so many Americans that visit the UK that don't even understand like the geography, or where they are, or what's there.
Moreover, each country has its own distinctive culture, national identity, and government.
Yeah.
So before you begin your sentence with, England's landscapes are, confirm that you really are in England.
Yes.
And not Scotland, which is a separate country.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yes.
Ask if they know the Queen.
Oh my God. This is sad that this has to even be in here. But, so far this list is very accurate. Like, for Americans in particular, most Americans don't know what the United Kingdom technically is, and the countries, or where it is on a map, and that's a whole thing. And a lot of Americans have this really crazy concept of royalty and what it is, and I think it's more of Americans don't understand royalty. And this video is clearly out of date because this question would be 10 times more insulting because the Queen passed away. She died years ago now. It was very sad. It was a huge event. And I saw some YouTube videos about it. There are a lot of people in the UK really mourning that and loved her. And but let's take this question. Now it would be if an American came and said, "Do you know the king? Do you know him?" It's such a I want to say most Americans wouldn't be this stupid because it's like asking, "Do you know the president of the United States? Do you know the prime minister of Canada? Do you know like what? What do you mean? You don't if normal people don't just know. It honestly just shows like a lack of respect or at best a lack of understanding of how serious and sort of grandiose the king is. Like that normal average people don't just hang out with him. That's I don't know where this one came from. This thing that Americans or people around the world don't understand.
How would you feel if some tourist in the U.S. asked if you knew Donald Trump? You'd
Yeah.
call that person plain stupid for assuming that everyone breathing the U.S. air knows the president.
Yeah.
So how do you expect people in the U.K. to personally know the royal family?
This is such a dumb question to ask a random British person if they know the king. Like, it'd be one thing to ask, have you ever seen the king? Have you like in a public event or but do you know him?
More than 60 million people live in the UK, and over 8 million of those live in Greater London alone. There is no way that these people know their monarch more than the internet knows.
Yeah.
You won't offend people with this question, but will definitely make them laugh.
That would be totally deserved. Right. It's like when Americans ask stuff this stupid, it's not I hope it doesn't even make people angry. It's more like, "Ha! Jeez." It's more like probably bewilderment and like laughing at us.
In your face. Number 3, block the escalator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this can be a bit of a problem in the United States. So I can see Americans don't have very good spatial awareness of where we are. Like I try to be very cognizant and aware and not invade people's space, and I try to not be in people's way, and maybe I think too much about it compared to most Americans who will just like stand in random parts of the escalator. You're supposed to be on the right. The left side is for passing. Even I know this. This is supposed to be like how it is in America. You're supposed to like go on the right and move. It's just that a lot of Americans don't care to do it.
Escalators are common in most countries, and we don't give much thought about the do's and don'ts while we are standing on it. Well, you'd be surprised to know that there is indeed a wrong way to stand on an escalator, at least in the UK.
Yeah.
It is an unspoken rule in this part of the world that if you want to stand still, you should stay on the right-hand side.
Yeah. And that's an unspoken rule in the United States. You're supposed to do that. It's just that we're not very good at it.
Why? Well, the left-hand side of the escalator is reserved for those people who are in a hurry.
Yes.
You know, the lot who believe that
Yes.
by running through the escalator and saving about 30 seconds, they would get to their destination on time. Just remember, if you
Yeah.
don't want to be pushed past, then stay on the right.
I love that. It sounds like in the UK, you guys really value order and discipline and personal space and like being proper in how you queue and organize, and I love it. I love that.
Number 4, jump a queue.
Oh, I've heard this before. This one I know. In the UK, queuing is very, very sacred. And yeah, I've heard this one before in like another video or something. And here in the United States, we call it waiting in line. And Americans are terrible at it. Oh my, it really, it annoys me. It kind of pisses me off because it's like being on the right side of the escalator. Americans know how this works. Waiting in line, waiting in a queue. It's just that in my personal experience, there's a lot of Americans who will like pretend that there is no line, there is no queue, and they'll kind of stand in random parts of the waiting area and kind of meander into it and like try to jump the queue by acting like they're stupid, or maybe they really are that stupid. Maybe it's ignorance, but either way, I hate it.
Many of us don't give much importance to a queue. You know, the ones we see outside a dessert kiosk because, well, an ice cream craving can't wait. But don't do that while you're in the UK,
Yeah.
simply because that is bad manners.
You should not do this in the United States either. It's also that I think Americans are, unfortunately, a lot more willing to be confrontational and just aren't aware. Some of it is malicious and some of it is just ignorance. But either way, this is so annoying to me because this has happened a lot in my life where I'm trying to wait in line. I'm trying to do it right. And people come and just act like they have no idea what's happening and just walk to the front desk or something. It's
Even if you think it is a petty thing and shouldn't annoy anyone, you aren't doing it here. Before you
Good.
attempt any such adventure,
Good.
know that those people ahead in the queue came here first and deserve to be served first.
Yes!
Plus, why do you want any
Yes.
inconvenience in the form of a fight? Stay in the queue, wait for your turn, and all will go swiftly.
Love this. Love this about the UK.
Number 5. Pick up a rented car.
Huh? What? Things you should never do in the UK. You should never pick up a rented car? I have no idea what this means. What if you rent a car, you gotta pick it up, right?
We don't mean to say that driving in this country is illegal, but you can get yourself and others in trouble by driving. We have created a nice bit of suspense here. We deserve a pat on the back. Jokes aside, the thing is that you will have to drive on the left side of the road here. And if you come from a nation where the opposite is the norm, you might have a tough time learning this. When you are new to a place, such experiments are the last thing you should be doing, right? Plus, remember
I thought this said something about renting a car. This this is actually saying Americans shouldn't drive at all in the UK. What? That's a little, I mean, it does sound pretty strange and difficult. The idea of just, if I traveled to the UK and if I rented a car, I would be driving on the left side of the road for the first time in my life. And it would basically just be a trial by fire. It'd be an experiment where it's like, okay, I've never done this before. Let's see if I can drive on the left side of the road correctly. And it does sound like, depending on the American, they are putting people at risk because a lot of Americans are bad drivers, even here, where they know how to drive on the right side of the road. But I understand what this is saying. This is saying Americans should really consider not even driving at all in the UK because it's going to be a disaster. And I don't think that's practical for everybody. And some Americans, like I'm sure, can do it. But I understand the sentiment of, I wouldn't want a bunch of random people like coming into my country that I don't necessarily trust doing driving experiments for the first time I get it.
don't know your way around, so you'd be consulting maps on a busy road while getting used to driving on the wrong side.
Right.
Number 6, talk about money.
Oh, interesting. In the UK, you should not talk about money. This is a good one because I didn't even know this really. Here in the United States, it's okay to talk about money. You know what? I will say it's pretty taboo to talk about how much you make. You don't ask someone how much money they make or how much money they have. So I get maybe it is similar. Is that what we're talking about?
You don't ask someone how much they earn or
Okay.
how much money they have in their pocket unless
Okay.
you are family or very close friends, right?
Okay, I thought it meant just don't talk about money in general, which, no. This is the same in America. You don't, it's very rude to ask someone how much they make. Yeah.
Come on, that's basic decency. People in the UK might feel offended if you ask too many questions about money.
Yeah.
In fact, boasting about your wealth is also not going to be appreciated. So
Oh, well, most Americans are aware enough not to ask about money, but most Americans definitely would brag about their money or accomplishments. Here in the United States, you are encouraged to talk about how great you are and how you are the best, and it's a very much winner mentality, winner culture. You got to be the winner. You got to hustle and grind, and you got to beat everyone else and be the best. And that's ingrained as very important for a lot of Americans. Growing up, it's ingrained in us, and so a lot of it, we're also taught to brag, to show off how great you are. And it sounds like in the UK, that's just arrogant. That is just stupid. That's bragging. And I totally get that.
keep the big bucks in your pocket. Number 7, greet inappropriately.
You should never greet someone What would constitute greeting someone inappropriately in the UK? I want to know.
Meeting someone for the first time and experiencing that awkward situation where you go for a hug while the other stops you with a handshake. Ever been there?
Okay.
If you don't want to find yourself in that
Sure.
situation in the UK, just go for a handshake because they aren't too comfortable making physical contact with strangers.
This is really random in America, so I understand this could be confusing for Americans. So in the UK, keep it to a handshake or less. Is that about right? Because in America, especially in close social settings, you'll find some Americans who want to hug you. If you're a complete stranger, they'll want to hug you. That's like more of an intimate, like friends of friends setting. Most of the time, you'll just say hello. Even a handshake is considered extremely formal.
Hugging and kissing on the cheek is reserved for people they know well and are comfortable with.
Okay, so that's a bit of a difference. Here in the United States, you will find some people who want to hug you even though they don't know you.
Oh, and what do you say when someone asks you, "How are you?" By no means is this a cue that you can start off your saga of nasal allergies if you don't want the person to never see your face again. Every "how are you" is followed by "fine, thank you," and nothing else.
Okay, this is the same. Here in the United States, if we say, "How are you doing?" we're not actually asking, "How is your life going?" We're just saying hello. I think that's pretty similar in the UK.
Number 8, fake their accent.
Oh, what? Oh, God. No, oh, God. I can imagine some Americans doing this. Because for some Americans, they find the British accent either interesting, cool, or silly. And for any of those reasons, Americans will try to imitate the British accent, and we are terrible at it. And it makes me cringe thinking about an American trying to do a British accent. I know there's a bunch of different British accents, but an American trying to do any British accent in the UK, that would just be embarrassing.
No matter how many times you have practiced the British or Scottish accent, don't use it, because it probably isn't that good.
Yeah.
People aren't going to like it if you force their accent, and especially when you are doing it all wrong.
Yeah. That, I would never try to do that. Man, if there's Americans who do that, it probably comes across as very disrespectful or like they're making fun of it.
You will make it look like you aren't a part of them and are desperate to lose your identity and mix with them.
Yeah, or that you're just like desperate to be British even though you're not.
Wouldn't it be better if you first make friends with natives of Wales and then try a Welsh accent?
Sure.
Number 9, voice opinions about Brexit.
What? You should never voice your opinion about Brexit. Well, that's probably not a big problem because most Americans have no idea what Brexit is. That's what I think. Most Americans have no opinion on this. So I don't even think this is a big problem.
We know that Brexit is the topic of discussion in pretty much the entire world, but you
Maybe like when it was happening, maybe. But nowadays, I don't think nobody even really talks about this in the United States.
can't be walking around spitting your views about it when you are in the UK. People there are directly related to it, and your views can be taken personally.
I will say we can expand on this and say, don't give your opinion about news and events and politics in the UK if you're not from the UK, because you don't actually know what's happening unless you live there and you're experiencing it, you know? Or certainly, if you are going to give your opinion, definitely be open-minded and realize if you don't live in the country, like, there's only so much you can possibly actually know.
And what happens when someone takes your casual opinion personally and in a negative light? Yes, they get offended and might beat you up.
Oh my God.
Okay, maybe we went too far with the beating up part, but you still don't want to risk it. Number 10, mess with the Queen's Guard.
Oh my God. I've seen video compilations of this. People disrespecting royal guards, Queen's Guard, King's Guard, British royal guards. Because I don't know why, but here in the United States, these are like an icon of British culture, and they're famous for being silent and very serious and professional, and a lot of Americans think it's a funny challenge to get them to break character, or I hate it. Just, that is so cringy. That is so disrespectful. It's not funny. I don't think a lot of Americans do it, but there's definitely some that don't take the British Royal Guard seriously. I don't know why. I think it's because we don't have anything quite like it, and so we can't really relate to the royalty thing, and the uniforms are very like grandiose. You have that gigantic hat, the iconic giant tall hat. A lot of Americans don't understand that it's serious, and they think it's like a joke or something. It's bad. This is bad. Yeah. Americans should know better than to do this. To be honest, we shouldn't have to be told this.
That bushy hat fool you? Oh, people, the Queen's Guard isn't your friend, and you aren't forgetting that. You may fool around with him a bit, and he won't pay much attention, let alone punish you. But there is a line drawn, and you must never cross it, because the consequences won't be pretty. Never, we repeat, never touch the guard. Because once you do that, prepare yourself for a world of hurt. Do you want that gun, the one that was fascinating you, to be pointed at you? If not, maintain a respectable distance from the guard. He deserves it.
Oh my God. Those videos are honestly like therapeutic. Watching stupid people touch royal guards and then have a gun in their face, it's like, you know, it's kind of therapeutic. It's kind of like, yes, show them. And in a lot of cases, it's probably Americans. And yeah, this was actually quite informative. I feel like if you are a rational, normal person, even just a normal American, you should know a lot of this stuff already, because a lot of this is just basic social etiquette, even here in the United States. But unfortunately, like with the queuing and staying on the right hand side and personal space and not being loud, unfortunately, we do that, all that stuff here in the United States. We do behave like that. And when Americans travel to other countries like the UK, we act like it's still the United States and you can just behave the same way, which is not, it's terrible, terrible mindset. And so I'm glad I took a look at this. There are quite a few things I did learn about specifically in the UK how to behave, but any American traveling to the UK needs to watch this at least. It would help prevent a lot of negative stereotyping about Americans too, but unfortunately, I don't think that's what happens. But I'm glad to have watched this. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on things that Americans should never do in the UK. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and learning things about British culture I've never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.